Out on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And for the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. And that's just a sampling. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. For laptops, mobile phones, and tablets, download the Roku app. National Streaming Sports, live and on demand, sports talk for America.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now, with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events.
So, good evening, folks, and welcome to the Sports Download, formerly the NFL Download. Of course, with the NFL kind of closing out here in a couple of weeks, we are going to be covering more than the NFL, although the NFL will be a prime source of our information. Right now, we're watching the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Bills. Kansas City's up 7-0. Josh Allen kind of looks like he does sometimes when he gets a little too excited. During the regular season, he's almost thrown a couple interceptions. Right now, it's 4th and 5, and the Bills are going to attempt a field goal to make it 7-3. So, guys, we had I guess you could call it a game. The Philadelphia Eagles just totally dominated the Washington Commanders. Barkley with a big run, first play. Washington with 3 turnovers in the first half. Second half, penalties, total dominance. I mean, people were scoring everywhere. So, I mean, let's start with James. I mean, this is one of your picks. You picked Philadelphia to go to the Super Bowl. The Bills did make that field goal, by the way, and to play the Chiefs. So, what are your thoughts on that game, James? Not much of a game, was it?
No, I mean, if you turn the ball over 4 times, you're liable to just lose a game, especially a big game like this. And look, they weren't ready. I think they're not as talented as the Philadelphia Eagles, and they just hit a wall. They just weren't ready. I mean, I think they had a dream magical season. You look like a Cinderella team, but again, when you have deficiencies at some point, when you come up against a juggernaut like the Eagles, they're going to start to rear their ugly head. And their deficiencies was the run defense. They just couldn't stop Saquon and Jalen Hurts. They both scored 3 touchdowns each. That's crazy. And those turnovers really hurt them. I mean, I'm not going to knock Jaden Daniels for his interception towards the end of the game. He's trying to do something to make it happen to try to keep the team in the game. But ultimately, it was just too much. The Eagles are really formidable, and I picked them to win the Super Bowl. I mean, I'll talk about that later, but yeah.
Sonia, I mean, Washington's a real young team. Jaden Daniels, I'm going to say he lost his cool a little bit today. I mean, he's normally calm under pressure. He's cool. I think today he kind of had a rookie lapse here, right? I mean, he would have been the first rookie to go to the Super Bowl, but instead he doesn't make it like a handful of others. So, I mean, listen, Washington got to the championship game. There's no guarantee they're going to get there again next year, though, Sonia.
Yeah, and Jaden Daniels said that the last piece of advice he had gotten before taking the field was from his dad, who told him, "Don't let the moment be too big. Like, just play the game. Don't don't get consumed in the moment being bigger than the game itself." And I think towards the end, it was a combination of stuff going on. I mean, we saw 4 second and long attempts with those encroachments by the defense of Washington because people, let's be honest, are sick of this push tush crap, this brotherly love push crap. And so Washington stood in the gap, put their wall up, and they wanted to make sure that Philadelphia didn't get into that end zone, almost to the point of being threatened and actually warned that if they did it again, because they kept jumping off sides, they kept encroaching, number 8 or not, number 93 or 9 or whatever his number is, and 11, basically was like, hey, if you do it again, you're Jeremy Chin, the former Panther, you're going to, and Lavu, former Panther as well, they're going to get a score awarded. So once they finally backed off, then here come the the Eagles. And they got there. I mean, let's be clear, the Eagles were supposed to be there last year, but for some reason or another, they, spiraled down 5 in a row. We predicted them kind of looking good last year. This year, I hate to say it, but looks like New York gifted them the greatest gift in Saquon Barkley, and he clearly was the missing piece. They ain't missing nothing on that defense with Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey both retiring. People thought that was going to change the defense, but thanks to them drafting Jalen Carter, the UGA defensive lineman, aka Breadman, he has literally been almost the whole D-line by himself. I think frustration really took over in this game. We saw lots of fights. They're division rivals already. And, I think the moment did start to consume Jaden towards the end because he realized he was outnumbered. And I mean, in a score type way. Like that, I turned it off the second possession of the fourth quarter. I finally turned and started watching Basketball Wives. Shout out to Jackie Christie.
Well, 2 things there. First of all, if I'm Dan Quinn, I'm pulling that guy off the field because he's doing nothing but creating penalties and he's still undisciplined. You can't have that on your team. You can't have your players jumping over, getting penalties, and getting warned. Well, I don't care if he's a rookie or not. I'm saying I would, as a coach,
he's not. He's experienced.
I don't care is what I'm telling you. I don't care if he's experienced. I'm saying that I'm pulling that guy off the field because he's doing nothing but hurting the team. And you got to kind of send a message to me. Secondly, as far as the Giants gifting anything, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of reading posts about it. I'm tired of hearing about it. Saquon Barkley was a free agent. The Giants did not trade Saquon Barkley. He left on his own accord. He could have stayed with the Giants if he wanted to. That was up to him. He decided to take the contract with the Eagles. Don't blame him. I probably would have too. Secondly, what would Saquon Barkley be doing with the Giants right now? Would the Giants have made the playoffs with Saquon Barkley? No, of course not. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy, and I think most of the Giant fans are happy for Saquon Barkley. I mean, nobody raised all this nonsense when Derrick Henry, well, I know he was injured the year before he got traded, but when they traded Derrick Henry from Tennessee, nobody's over there saying, oh, Tennessee's a bunch of idiots, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it is what it is. It's football. It's business.
I think it's a difference because you guys are in the same division. It's just different when it's the same division. And J-Train and I have one of the Friday with the Fellas guys, Fern, who's diehard Giants fan. He was not happy. He literally was like telling us to watch Hard Knocks and show us basically Saquon was an issue before he left. And, then it was exposed about this Hard Knocks clip. So it wasn't like he just, come by y'all, let's go our separate ways. It was not the best of transactions. And so that's why you're reading about it, not you personally, Mac, because, we love you and we care about you. But we're saying in general, Giants fans are getting ready to get it all. J-Train and I are just the tip of the iceberg about what's to come tonight. Like any Giants fans have probably logged off of social media because folks are coming for them with poop and piss everywhere.
Yeah, that's probably not going to stop, Mac, especially a couple more weeks. You're going to hear about it more. So not for me. I'm not going to rub it in. I don't like pouring salt in the wounds.
Yeah, but, not me either, Mac. But everybody else can get it.
you know you're going to hear it. It's just
maybe so, but again, we didn't trade him. He left on his own accord. He could have stayed if he wanted to. So, anyway, let's talk a little bit about. Let's preview Buffalo since and Kansas City Chiefs. And I know they just started playing, but we can give our opinions on what we think will happen during the game. Listen, the Kansas City Chiefs have an unbelievable run defense. The Buffalo Bills are going to have to be able to run the ball to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think that the Buffalo Bills have enough talent at wide receiver. Is there a fumble? You guys must be ahead of me.
Maybe I'm a little ahead
of me too, because they showing somebody getting carted off the field.
Oh no, Pat Mahomes got ransacked and then he fumbled the ball, but we're trying to see who has the ball. And there's a flag. Buffalo has the ball. Buffalo has the ball. But
no, Buffalo don't even got the ball where I'm at. Oh, there it goes. I had to fast forward a little bit.
Now but there's a flag.
And a flag. Yeah.
Maybe it's holding. Offside. Offsides in the defense. No go. It's offsides in the defense.
Paramount.
Oh, Paramount? Yeah, you got to fast forward a little bit. I was on Paramount too.
So Christian,
it's still the ball of Kansas City right now. It was a offsides in the defense, encroachment.
Does yours say 2:19, J Train? Your time?
Yeah, 2:19. Yep.
And they go on. The ref is about to talk now.
No, we're lining up now. They're lining up.
Oh Lord, this thing. I think it just depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
That's for it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just be quiet. I got excited when I saw a fumble.
Yeah, I'm be quiet too because mine is behind J Train's, and then we're both ahead of Mac. So wow.
First down.
There you go.
What's up, y'all? Green Bay own.
The Chiefs. So the Chiefs have the ball 2nd and 2 right now at the 48. It looks like on my TV anyway. So we'll see what happens here. See if they get that first down. 2nd and 2. Patrick Mahomes is back, and now I see the fumble now. I got you. I am behind you guys. All right. There you go. Anyways, so everyone's doing great, Yali. Thanks for asking. So anyway, as I was saying, the Bills are going to have to run the ball against that Chiefs defense, whether it be Cook or Allen. As you saw earlier, the Chiefs, you've got Hollywood Brown, who's made some big catches. You've had Juju Shyster or Schmister or whatever it is. His name is. He had a big
former Pittsburgh.
All right, he had a big catch. So I think that they're going to have to do that. So they got offside. You guys are correct. Casey catches the ball. Catches the first down, and there you go. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about the coaching vacancies. The Cowboys
again. Somebody fumbled. Oh my goodness! Now it's really Buffalo's ball now.
Okay, you way ahead of me too. So nobody can react. Basically,
it's hard not to. What the? Yeah, that's definitely a fumble.
They're gonna fumble now. They're gonna fumble now.
Bad exchange between the quarterback and the running back, and
yes, sir. Take these Chiefs down.
James, you take over because I'm behind. You take over and you run the show here. Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Go ahead. Serious. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's commercial now.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I mean,
he gave you the front seat and everything.
Yeah. Go ahead. I mean, if you, I'm way behind you guys. So
okay,
it's debating Manning.
I'll just keep giving you updates on the game when it comes back on.
Okay.
So what were you saying? Yeah.
The coaching vacancies, as we talked about on a big football show, we had Dallas hiring offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer, son of Schottenheimer, who coached for Kansas City and the Rams and a few other teams. He's been around for a while. Jack seems to think it was a pretty good hire. I think it's just a puppet on a string. What do you guys think?
I'm not sold on it. I'm gonna be honest. It's the same. I feel the same way, Mac. Like it's almost Yeah, I mean, you're basically advancing from within your organization. Like, I don't understand that. You were losing with him. You didn't go out and get any talent from some other experienced coach or anything. Like, you literally are just delaying the inevitable. Get ready for another season just like this one. But this time, it's going to be the offensive coordinator who catches the ass. He's gonna get 1 year, and that's going to be it.
Yeah. James, you agree with that?
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that he wasn't calling the plays. I think Mike McCarthy was calling the plays, I believe. And so to me, if you're an offensive coordinator and your duties is to really manage the game offensively, and you're not really doing that, how can you be relegated to being promoted as a head coach? I don't understand how that works. Maybe there's something different. Maybe they saw something a little bit better in him. Maybe he presented a better game plan than what Mike McCarthy was presenting. And, because sometimes these guys hold back too. I'm not saying that, they're looking to get to move up at some point. I don't know. Maybe he's a ham clamper like the previous coach that they had, and smiled a lot. Yeah, Jason Garrett. Maybe he does that. We'll see. I think time will tell.
He's a good equipment manager.
But it looks like Jerry Jones is just doing his same old thing that he's always done, and just he needs somebody that he can control. That way he can have his hands tied into the the locker room and everything else. So I'm not sold on it, but time will tell.
There had to be some better candidates out there for them to talk to.
Yeah, definitely. I'm on CBS now, so hopefully I'll stay ahead of the game here.
Oh, you should be there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 46 seconds. 44.
I got 31.
I got 31 too, so yeah.
Oh, dang. So now I'm behind. What in the heck?
So now you can call the game.
So anyways, all right, okay. Pete Carroll. Does Pete Carroll equal Russell Wilson as their quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders?
What happened?
No, he's asking. There's rumors.
Oh my God.
Russell Wilson to the Raiders because Pete Carroll's there.
He may as well, because I've seen where the Steelers are ready to move on from him. Like, he and Justin Fields are still there, and he basically knows that he's not going to be the quarterback of the Steelers going forward. Y'all remember in the beginning of the season, we thought he wasn't going to be the quarterback as long as he was. And they started Justin Fields, and then they switched out. And I think it was kind of just testing the waters. And now that test has been seen and they've lost again and, missed out on the playoffs, Russell's going to probably go, Peter, give him a chance, because if not, Russell's going to end up as a backup somewhere. Because after all, Denver is still paying him.
Yeah. Listen, Pete Carroll was there during the Legion of Boom. He was responsible, believe it or not, for Legion of Boom. Great defensive coordinator. So, I mean, I think at the very least, the Raider defense will even be better than they were last year. So, I don't know about Russell Wilson. I know O'Connell was their quarterback last year. I would imagine they will want to draft a quarterback, even if they do get Russell Wilson as a bridge quarterback or whatever. And then Russell Wilson will have to go up against another young guy for the position, which will be interesting.
Look, let me say something about that. I just think Russell Wilson will probably end up staying in Pittsburgh. I think it all depends on what Mike Tomlin does. If Mike Tomlin stays, I think he keeps his players. Like, he gets rid of George Pickens. There was a bit of issue there with a little bit of malcontent in wide receiver. They get rid of him, bring in another big name, bring in another guy, maybe draft a receiver. I didn't see much bad there. If they keep the running back crew there, I know Najee Harris is he's a free agent, and he's probably going to be looking for a big payday. Maybe they pay him. I don't know, but I think they had something good there. I think they really have a good defense. They have a couple of aging guys on there with Cam Hayward. TJ Watt is not old, but he is a little bit injury prone, but he's still a great formidable force on that as a bookend. But I really think that Russ can stay there. You get him for cheap. You get a bridge quarterback, maybe draft a quarterback in the third or fourth round as possibly your guy that you might want to develop. But I think Russ is not bad. I can't see him reuniting in Vegas though. I just don't see that.
Is Najee Harris really worth a bigger contract?
It depends. I think you let him go and see what someone's willing to pay him. I like him as a decent like stud running back, but I'm not going to pay him what Saquon Barkley's getting. I'm going to pay him maybe a little bit less than that because I think everything's based on the money. Saquon has, shall I say, he's outplayed his 3-year contract already with 2,000 yards and getting his. In the playoffs, what he's done in the playoffs, he's getting $48 million, and it's not. I don't think you think all that's guaranteed. So you're going to see a resurgence of the running game. I mean, with Derrick Henry, look what Derrick Henry did. I mean, so it's going to change up a lot, and I think he's going to command Najee Harris. He's going to command a little bit more money than you expect him to get, but I think it still will be a lot less than what Saquon and Derrick Henry are getting.
New York
Giants didn't start really using Derrick Henry until almost the past midway of the season. Like he wasn't getting targeted enough to even get those yards. I'm sorry, Mac. I just remembered that. Like that's why he hadn't been super competitive or even in the same talks as Saquon because they didn't target him as much. I mean, they only really started looking at him more after the injury of Zay Flowers.
Right.
I agree. Right now, it looks like Buffalo's putting together a drive. They're using Cook more as running and a wide receiver, and he's had a couple big plays. So maybe Josh Allen's starting to turn around a little, get a little settled in here. There he goes with a bomb across the field into double coverage. Not smart again. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what he's doing. Maybe it looks like I got a flag on the play. We'll see.
I don't know why they throw into double coverage like that. Like you have to be able to see that somebody's double covered. That's just dumbest play I've seen.
Okay.
Unless you're just trying to get rid of the ball.
That could be too, but I mean, you better throw it a lot better than that. So there you go. So they get a flag on Kansas City. Do you think the refs are going to be a little extra hard on KC because of all the criticism they got?
Maybe not necessarily extra hard, but they're going to be less strict on the other team. I'll say that. Less of an eye to look for penalties with Mahomes. I mean, he literally uses hand gestures to orchestrate the effects of when he needs a foul drawn. Like this right here. He does all these gestures.
Yes, he does.
All that. Yeah.
Okay. James, your New Orleans Saints is giving a second interview to our offensive coordinator, Mike Kafka. So I know you're excited about. I know you're excited about that.
Extremely, man. We were lined up. It was like I was at a what do you call those? That Friday, Black Friday. I'm standing outside Walmart in line waiting to see Kafka, get the job. There's no way. Man, he had his duty stripped of him. Why would we even give this guy an opportunity? It just tells us the ineptitude of the organization where they are right now, and they're not in a good position to get anybody. Like I said earlier today, they lost two people. One of them who didn't even want to give a second interview again, who decided to stay with Buffalo, and Joe Brady, and Aaron Glenn went with. He even said that he would prefer to be with the Jets, and he also said there's rumors stating, I don't know how true it is, that the only way he would get with New Orleans is if Mickey Loomis was gone. So
hey, I don't know if I want to go to the NO. When they say NO, they mean no. Okay.
I mean, they instead of Saints, it's more like Satan because they got hell in front of that.
Exactly.
No.
That's what the NO stand for, not New Orleans, but just no.
So the Dallas Cowboys still have a couple, they got some big salary. I don't know why they have a problem with their contracts because it seems like other teams know how to, assign bonuses or they put incentives. I don't know why Dallas has such a problem with that. Dak is one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league right now. Is there any thought of moving on from him and maybe getting some free agents for him?
You can't. At this juncture, you really can't because what are you going to get from him? I mean, that albatross is tied around your neck with that contract. In that contract, I'm not saying Dak is not good. I think Dak is a very good quarterback. I think he's probably, if there have to be a tier, he's in that second upper, like lower, like A minus, B plus tier quarterback. You can do things with him. You just really have to have the weapons around him, which you have CeeDee Lamb, but you need a running back. I think the biggest thing is they didn't have a good running game. Eventually, Dow will start showing up. I mean, I think that might be a guy for them that can help. Brandon Cooks looks like he's probably on his way out. I mean, he's okay. I wouldn't call him a solid number 2. I think he's a number 3 at this juncture of his career. They need some help. They need offensive line play as well. Dallas was known the past 3 seasons or so for having a great offensive line and you protect, but that's no longer anymore. That they don't really have that anymore. Obviously, you trade. You let a guy go, and Tyron Smith, he was obviously injury riddled. It's just a lot there. But I think to answer your question again, Mac, Dak is worth keeping. I wouldn't get rid of him. Who are you going to get to replace him?
He should have gone to Atlanta when he had a little bit more stock before they got Kirk Cousins, and we'd be talking about a whole different situation right now. But now he's been hurt again, meat falling off the bones. Like, that sounds just horrible. Like, how is he going to, even though they did the surgery, I mean, what is the rack of ribs, fall off the bone type stuff? I mean, he's coming back, but we have not seen him post-surgery, and this is not his first injury.
Yes. Cook has just scored. They featured him on this drive. James Cook, Delvin's younger brother. So the Bills have now gone up 9-7.
Yes, yes, I'm behind y'all. Let me hit the fast forward again. I got bills all day.
Yes.
Pay them bills.
So, Cook, I mean, listen, they finally used Cook this drive. I mean, last drive, Allen was trying to throw the ball way downfield, and this drive, they handed it to him. They threw it to him, and good blocks by the wide receivers downfield and in for a touchdown. So there you go. So the Bills are now in the lead. And that's something.
Shut Kansas down and shut all these people up.
This is something they got to do, too. They got to get up, and I think they got to get up on the Kansas City Chiefs by a couple scores, 10 points or something. Because if you get the ball back to Patrick Mahomes with, up 6 with a minute left, well, 6 seconds left, for God's sakes, or 13 seconds left, I mean, it might not be over. So there you go. Buffalo.
Well, it's really going to help if they turn the ball. If they continue to turn that ball over, it'll help. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a bad exchange between running back and quarterback, but they cost him 7 points.
No doubt.
He's a beige version of Tom Brady. You cannot give him the ball within any time left on the clock. Everybody knows Tom Brady was a fourth quarter quarterback.
Yeah.
And a 4-second quarterback, too.
He proved it a bunch of times. So, and really any good or great quarterback can do that. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks bring them, Peyton Manning, Eli. I mean, even a couple others that were really, really good quarterbacks. The only one that I haven't seen do that yet is Lamar Jackson. We're waiting on him to do that. Maybe one day he will too.
Ribbit.
So, okay. So,
oh man, he could have did it. That was a bad drop. That was a bad drop in the end zone.
He probably saw a fly, and so he got distracted.
It's like bad juju. You know what I mean, James? It's like bad juju. You ever heard juju? Like bad juju.
I'm from New Orleans. Trust me, nothing but juju. Voodoo juju. Yes.
Yes. So on the NFL, the big show and more, we also talked a little bit about the quarterbacks coming out. And we had everybody pick who they thought the quarterbacks should be. And as we said, Cam Ward, sidearm thrower, could be good, could be bad. Shedeur Sanders, good throwing technique, moves around well in the pocket. Dylan Gabriel, quick but little, can read defenses real quick. Jalen Milroe, dual threat quarterback, throws a good deep ball. I don't like his turnovers. Some people don't mind. I don't like it. I think that's a problem that's going to continue. Will Howard, again, a young quarterback that played really well in the playoffs. And, of course, James' favorite, Jason Dart, who we'll talk about at length, too. Jason Dart's one of his favorite quarterbacks. So, anyway, guys, I mean, I know I asked you that. if you were to rank them, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Monroe, Will Howard, James, give me those 5 in order.
Look, you mentioned Cam Ward being the sidearm thrower. I do remember in the 80s, there was a guy by the name of Bernie Kosar who was a sidearm thrower. He was legit, man. They had a really formidable team as well. And so you can be successful with it. I mean, at times you might see Pat Mahomes throw sidearm every now and then. He doesn't do it all the time, but he'll throw sidearm here and there. And then some other quarterbacks will do it to to be a part of their game, but not as a constant like Bernie Kosar. But I'm going to have, because of where he's been, Shedeur Sanders. I just really think the main thing, his knock will be is holding on to the ball a little bit too long, trying to make plays happen. But other than that, he's really a good reader of the defenses. I think he can really carve. If you give him protection, he can carve up a defense. He doesn't run the ball as much. He's more of a pocket passer, and I think he's NFL Pro ready. Cam Ward, I would have him number 2. I would have him number 2 just because of his talent with the arm. He's got a big, strong arm, and he can run the ball as well. He's got a little bit of experience as well, and he's been in for like 6 seasons in college. He's been around. So, I mean, I'm not sold on him, but, I mean, this group is not as good as the last year's group. So I would say Cam Ward would be like number 2. And then I'll make you surprise you. I like Jackson Dart. I think Bingo at number 3. I got him at 3, and I think he's kind of underrated. The kid out of Oregon, I would have as 4, and then maybe Howard, and then Jalen Milroe. I'll be honest with you, no hate, no shade. I'm a fan of LSU. He is the streakiest quarterback I've seen. I think if anything, when we were talking about taking black quarterbacks and making him to a wide receiver, I'd be honest, this has nothing to do with his race. I see him better as an athlete or maybe a Taysom Hill type player than a 4-down or 3-down quarterback, because I just don't see it there, as far as like stability, being able to go past first and second reads. I'm not sold on him. He has a strong arm, but he doesn't know how to read. I don't think he can read defenses as well. And I think he runs the ball a lot better than he does throw.
All right, that's fair. Same question for you, Sonia. You got Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, and of course James picked Jason Dart. But Quinn Ewers you could throw in there too if you want.
So I would put Cam number 1. Shedeur is a number 2, but I wouldn't want to put him too far ahead of Jalen. I forgot Jalen was in that group as well. I've watched him a little bit. He's a solid athlete, but like J Train said, this draft class is just not comparable to the last one we had. And I feel like the last one we had, we were literally so saturated with quarterbacks, even throughout the second and third round, good quarterbacks, that it just kind of spoiled us in a sense, where there's like no standard of comparison this season, because these quarterbacks are just good in their own right, but they're not the same standard of comparison that we're used to. But in my opinion, kind of like I said this morning, the hype around Shedeur Sanders is basically the name, in my opinion. I mean, he does play well, but at the end of the day, it's the pedigree. It's whose son this is and the influences and who all knows him and who all that have already played in the league have had some type of influence over him. At the end of the day, he still has to play his own downs. He still has to make his own mental acclimation into the league. And for those reasons, I feel like he's not as the number 1 pick like they would say. I think he's been overhyped a little bit. So I would need him to be in the second position behind Cam Hayward and Cam Ward. And Jalen is right, if not number 2. Those two may be interchangeable, 2 and 3. And then I like Dart too. I probably would put him at my 5th place though. And who was the other name you said, Mac?
You got Will Howard. You also got Quinn Ewers in there too.
Will Howard is really, really good. He's a solid number 4 in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Of course, these quarterbacks, they always reach for the quarterbacks, right? Teams are always they're estimating that 6 quarterbacks will go in the first round, which I think is ridiculous because it should, but it's going to happen because you're going to have teams on there that are going to take flyers, hoping they find that jewel, in the rough. And, and I think it's going to hurt a lot of teams. I mean, I know the Giants need a quarterback. They do need a quarterback. They got nothing on their team right now. They got, Danny DeVito and, Brock Lester. They got all these crazy guys as quarterbacks on their team. They need one. But, I would rather take Travis Hunter and take another quarterback down the line. But I bet you all that they will take, if they get a shot at Shedeur Sanders, I think they would take Shedeur Sanders. They really do.
Yep, and I am not sold on him being that piece of the puzzle for New York. There's too many other inconsistencies in the O-line that for him to come into that environment. I don't think he has enough tools in place to ignite New York the way they should be. Like, you guys played solid. Y'all went to the Super Bowl. You won a Super Bowl. Like, this team for the last couple of seasons is like a phantom of who we're used to seeing. So I think you all don't just need a quarterback. Y'all need like a Robin to your Batman.
Yeah, I think Malik Neighbors would fill that for him. I mean, if Shedeur Sanders could, get the ball to him. But again, you probably lose out maybe on Travis Hunter, or you lose out on some of the other good players that you probably would pick if you had. I mean, look at New Orleans. New Orleans definitely needs a quarterback. Rattler played okay. I don't think Rattler's the answer for you guys. I think you need a quarterback. I think we said this earlier. If Carolina Panthers, I think they're safe with Bryce Young for at least another year. I mean, if he continues to get better, you stick with him. That's what I think anyway. So,
number one.
Let's see. Buffalo's
heard it here first, man.
Yes, Buffalo's up 10-7. Who we got with the ball? I think Kansas City has the ball right now. It's second and 9.
Did you see Gonzo with that little sorry slide a while ago trying to beg for the foul again?
Oh my goodness.
Gave himself up so he could get a hit. What a
sorry. It was 4th and 1. He was this guy's
he's a sorry lizard. You hear me? He just slid in there looking like an eel. He's pathetic.
But Mac, yeah, the Saints do need a quarterback, but I think I want to take a page out of your book, what you're saying. We need a time for a quarterback to develop. And I think Spencer Rattler needs that. I've watched him and I see the talent there. I see the talent there, but he needs development. He definitely needs development. He's not a Jaden Daniels coming out and having tremendous success, and to be fair, he didn't have all his weapons there either as well, with the line being kind of shoddy as well. But I think time will help him. And I think maybe time will tell. We do a revisionist draft. A 5th round might be a little too late for him. I think I would consider him as like a 2nd or 3rd round. That's just how talented he is. I just think that he needs some development. In regards to Derek Carr being there, look, I know there was rumors about New York, us possibly trading him to New York. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've seen enough of Derek Carr. I'm ready for him to go. And we just got news too, Mac. The offensive coordinator that we had there, Clint Kubiak, he got on with Seattle. He got on with Seattle. So.
Oh my gosh!
Everybody's bailing on you guys over there.
Wow. I told him earlier they're going to get rid of the Florida League, but he said, no, that's part of the culture. So
we got to keep that. Yeah.
Pack up all your gumbo and get up out of there.
Yeah, because Hurricane Katrina Part 2.0 might be coming.
Jesus.
I mean, that's what it feels like with the team. Yeah, exactly.
I got a quick quick fact for you that I was going to bring up earlier on the big NFL show and more. In 1929, when the Yankees started putting numbers on their jerseys, because they didn't always have that, it was the batting order. So Babe Ruth had number 3, Lou Gehrig had number 4, and that's how they got their numbers. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. I never knew that. Is
that either.
Is that what started numbers on all sports or just baseball?
I think. I mean, the Yankees. I know for sure. I didn't look up other teams.
Yeah,
But, it was. And I'm thinking, well, what happens if Babe Ruth, doesn't play that day? Then do they put a number 3 jersey on him?
That's funny.
Kind of
Wow,
crazy.
yeah.
They made the change April 16th, 1929, and those numbers were assigned. They were the first MLB team to do that. And those numbers that were assigned was literally their batting order. So I guess it just makes sense, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, But what if somebody's batting it? I guess you just stuck in that order the whole season.
I guess. I mean, I like I said, unless somebody, the Chiefs just scored a touchdown, so they come back. It's at least 13-7. A rookie wide
They're the only
receiver.
team that never put names on the back of their uniforms, too. I didn't realize that.
They still don't?
Yeah. No.
The Yankees don't. They're the only MLB team that never put players' names on the uniform. Wow, I never knew that.
Well, I guess you don't have to because everybody knows who they are.
The team is
And
bigger
you know
than
who
the
number 1 was, Mac?
Well, I know Billy Martin was number 1 in the 50s. I don't know who was number 1 in the 20s.
In 1929, the first number 1 ever was Earl Combs.
Wow. That's a name from the past. Wow.
Clearly, I'm looking it up over here. There's no
You said it to me. I'm like, there's a question mark over my head. I was like, still, who is that?
Quick look up over here. Quick look up. Earl Combs?
Yeah, is he a Hall of Famer?
Let me see.
I'm sorry. I'm like you, sis. Sonia, if I see Taylor Swift one more time,
you know what? That's why I'm not watching this game.
Oh.
I'm gonna check in for the scores only. Earl Combs, wow. Earl Combs died on the day my sister was born, July 21st, 1976. He lived a long time from 1899. He was nicknamed the Kentucky Colonel. He was a center fielder and leadoff hitter for the New York Yankees throughout his 12-year career. And he was labeled the 1927 was known as Murderers Row. Oh, they were murking him.
Yeah.
He's one of 6 players on that team who have been inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. The other 5 are Wade Hoyt, Herb Pinnock, Tony Lazzeri, Lou Gehrig, and Babe Ruth. Babelicious.
The Murderers Row is considered one of the best Yankee teams of all time.
And that's gangster for real. I bet the mob on that. The mob had that name out.
They might have. But they say they might be better than the '98 team that won like 100.
What?
Yeah, that's what they
say. That team had a lot of money on it. That team had a lot of money on it.
Yeah, that team had that thigh out.
They sure did. So there you go with that. Some of the games that we covered a little bit too from earlier for folks that didn't join us there. Boston does beat Dallas 122-107. Tatum with 24 points. I asked the question, if Boston is as good as they were last year, is Dallas as good as they were last year?
Dallas is better to me than they were last year. I mean, of course, Boston was. They kind of went all the way. Dallas I feel like they kind of had to go through a maturation play phase. Didn't they get who was it they got? Hold on. Didn't they get somebody from the Warriors?
At the end of the season, towards the end of the season, before the trade deadline, they got a couple of players that were some bigs that really helped them. And then you see what they were able to do in the playoffs last season. So they're no different than what they were, I believe. And then they got Klay Thompson. Yes.
Klay Thompson. They got PJ Washington. So those were big moves.
Yeah. So
and Kyrie Irving.
Dallas is gonna be tough in the West. I just think that the East is probably whoever wins out of the East is probably going to win the championship again. It's just the East looks a lot better than the West.
The East is the beast. The East is the beast, and the West is not the best.
The East is no longer the least. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
So the Heat with
hold on. You got to bring up the Knicks too. How are the Knicks doing?
The Knicks are third, one game behind Boston. Last I saw, they beat the the Kings 143-120 yesterday. So they've been playing really well. They'll be in the hunt. That's for sure. They made a second round last year. They needed a bench. I don't know if they got enough for a bench or not. We'll see.
But the Cavaliers are ahead of the Celtics. That's the thing.
Yes.
They're
Cleveland
number one.
Yes.
They kind of looking like the LeBron days a little bit to me.
They're for real. They have really good defense. And I just think that underrated is what's the kid that played for Utah that went there? Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is really good. And then Garland and the rest of those guys they're forgetting who LeBron is there.
Evan Mobley been putting up a lot of big points too.
Well, listen,
Luka Doncic,
the Cleveland always has a good regular season. What's going to be the difference, right? They've got to play well in the playoffs,
right?
To change my mind about the Cavaliers. So we'll see what happens with that. Jerry Butler sung "Your Precious Love" was a great hit in 1957. But anyway, Jimmy Butler has problems with management. He did leave the team, sitting at the tarmac for a couple hours before he called and said, "I'll meet you there." Huge problems right now over there in Miami with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, he's a prima donna.
I love Jimmy Butler, the talent, and I like his tenacity, his fire. But sometimes that's just got to get under control. I mean, like I think Sonya, you mentioned Draymond Green earlier. You just can't be a malcontent and be a cancer to your team, man. And this seems to be coming out. This is not the first time. Again, we talked about what he's done in Minnesota. Also, the situation trying to force himself out of Philadelphia. Look, you messing with the wrong one in Pat Riley. Pat Riley has been around. He's done it a lot longer than most, and he's got championships with players better, worth the same as you, and he can my way or the highway. And I think the only player he really regret not having there was LeBron. And when LeBron left, but other than that, look, he's let people walk out the door and didn't have no qualms about it, brought some people in to replace him. And I think this is the same type of situation here. He's not going to pay a guy that's becoming over the hill and that's become injury prone. So
yeah. And he didn't LeBron and Dwayne Wade get away with that. I mean, he didn't let them get away with being, so that, I mean, and not that Jimmy Butler, I mean, Jimmy Butler's 37 right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He's in his maybe late 30s. He's no LeBron James, that's for sure, right? I mean, he's a good ball player, but he's no LeBron James. So, or Dwayne Wade, and for that matter, I think Dwayne Wade was a better player than him. So, that's it for that. The Philadelphia, listen, Maxey is a superstar. There's no doubt in my mind. If you're going to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers, the leader of that team right now is Maxey. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with Embiid, who's only played 13 games so far this year. We're halfway through. He's got another injury.
Oh, my God.
Maybe it's time to just send him back and see what you can get for him. I don't know. I don't know what you could get for him right now, James.
I mean, he's saying they made a comment to the New York Post. The owner commented today, was like he was very disappointed and they're not happy. So when you start hearing the owner coming out and it's on the New York Post, get ready. Like he may be, boots in the wind tomorrow, injury and all, because this is the second season. I mean, he was injured last season, if I remember correctly. And I think part of the season before that one, because they were looking for him to come back in time for the playoffs. So This is 3 years in a row. They put a lot on him. I think his performance was really needed during the playoffs last year. And because he got re-injured or something, even then, I think it's just one of those things like you better sell him now while he's still got a little bit of stock left, because his stock is going down fast.
Look, Embiid has always been an injury-prone player from the beginning of his career to where we are now. But, he's always been a great player. He's an elite. When he's healthy, or if he's on half legs, if he's playing on knees, he's still far better and above a lot of players that are in the league. But I think the problem is now he's getting older. The injuries are becoming more of an issue, and he can't get away with the things he was doing. Maxey called him out. You're right. Maxey is a leader, but he called him out saying, like, look, we can't have, if everybody's coming to meetings and everything on time, you got to come on time too. He called him out. You can't do that. If you're a player and you don't have all these things going on, like your injuries and everything are biting you in the butt, you literally got to be good at everything else. You got to be like a team player. And to me, not being on time at your meetings and doing other things that are contrary to being a good leader is showing that, like, you're not being a team player, man. And that can break down morale. And so, especially if you got somebody who's getting paid a whole bunch of money and they haven't won a championship, expectations for them are to get to, for everybody, is to get to the finals. Yeah. But with him particularly, and so, I would, my move would be, is that this would be it. Like Sonya said, maybe you try to get what you can for him at the before the trade deadline, and get him out of there.
I mean, and maybe he's coming late to the meetings and stuff, because with all these surgeries, there's always pain pills right after that. Maybe he's on a lot of medication and he sleeps, a little late or something because of the pain. I mean,
then I would say Maxey probably wouldn't call him out then. It's got to be something.
Maybe Maxey don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just more. I think this is something that's just rearing its ugly head finally, more so in a situation where the benefits don't outweigh the risk, or the bad side. I think it's just that.
Well, you got Embiid, and his attitude has changed a lot too. Not that he's always had the best, but when you start yelling at referees, female referees, and I know
the media,
it shouldn't matter whether it's a male or female, but I don't care what anybody says. If it's a female referee, people are going to say, hey, listen, what are you doing picking on her? Called her a dumb blonde, and was throwing chairs. Yes, this call was and it began with C. So anyway,
my favorite word. Wow.
Yes.
You can say it. You can say it, Mac, right? I won't be offended.
Well, we don't want to say it on the air.
Would you guys like me to say it?
No, please, no. No.
That's okay.
Would it come differently coming from me?
Even producer Linda's shaking her head. No, you don't have to say it. We all know.
She's probably like, "What's wrong with Sonya?"
So I mean,
around with Kareem Hunt.
Yes, there you go. But anyway,
let's pick more rhyming words.
You can't expect teammates to put up with this kind of stuff when you're supposed to be the leader. You're the guy in the middle. You're the guy that made the 3-point shots. You're the one that controlled the boards, and now he's not doing that anymore. So I agree with you. Something will be done, if not this year, by the end of the year, or something's going to happen with Embiid. The Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors, who are kind of in a tailspin. I mean, it's been a while. Their guard, Curry, says he doesn't want to trade for anybody. He wants to keep the team the same. Listen, you don't want to keep Steve Curry. The owner does. And I think you want to put a product out there that can win the ball game. So I'm not sure what Curry's thinking about. I think right now, the Golden State Warriors are not in a good place. They're 11th right now. They're not even in the top 10 last time I looked. What do you guys think? I mean, who's their big guys? Who's the big
one
guy
thing I can say about Curry is that I respect the hell out of him. Look, as much of a fan of I am of LeBron James, this dude always cries before the deadline that we got to get some players in here. We need players. We need help. Curry doesn't do that. Look, he says, look, we're going to go nails kicking, screaming down the stretch with who we got in the locker room. We're going to go ahead and try to win. But I agree with you Mac. At some point, look, Curry, you're getting a little older. You might need somebody a little younger to come in, some fresh legs, some big man to come in and help out. You do need a little help. Yeah, so at this juncture, they probably need some help. And then would help in that game, you mentioned that the Lakers beat them. The Lakers got some help defensively from the Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is a guy that's one of their best premier defenders, but he's been hurt the past 2 years, and so he's been on the sideline. And so to see him come back, you can see what he's done in the game, what he did in the game. That's probably going to take them on a trajectory up. And of course, you're saying the Warriors are on the spiral down. That they do need some help.
Hey, listen, I'm not a big
so sad about that. The Warriors were my team. They have not been the same since they dried up the Splash Brothers. When they got rid of the pool, it was a wrap.
Yeah, I mean,
it was time, Sonya. It was time.
They should have gotten rid of gremlin-faced Draymond, who's been the toxic, rotten apple of that whole organization. He's the reason for this.
I'm gonna tell you, there's a reason they didn't get rid of him. Is because inside that organization, he might be a nasty, you know what, to other teams, but within that organization, he is a glue, a foundation.
Well, no, he assaulted Jordan Poole. He assaulted his own teammate.
Who they get rid of? They
got rid of the victim. So what happened was Poole must have sued.
What is he doing out there? What is he doing out there?
Must have sued the Warriors for letting another teammate assault them, and because they got retribution on him, workplace harassment, and they decided to separate them, but they really should have got rid of Gremlin Strike.
They were going to get rid of him.
They got rid of poor little Jordan Poole, the Splash.
Everybody's got somebody on their team that they love, but everybody hates. Draymond is that dude.
Everybody hates him. And
no, not with
as bad as he is. His looks match his ugliness. He's ugly through and through.
Oh my goodness!
The nerve to have a child. I was like, who did it?
Oh, we're going the wrong direction.
They listen. Draymond he's getting a little bit of tooth too. He's not what he was 5-6 years ago. So
for sure.
So I don't know.
That's because of karma coming back on him.
Yeah. I think they could use help, but these guys are older. They're older. I mean, they need another one or two players to help them. I think they still have what it takes to the pedigree to win maybe one more championship. But you need help. They need help.
Don't see that.
They need help. I agree with what you said, Mac. They need another guy in there.
They need more than one guy to win the championship.
They sure do. Mac, I'm with you on this one.
Yeah, maybe if they got Tatum and LeBron and
they need like 5. They need a handful of guys. That team is horrible.
Wow. Well, anyway, folks, we're at the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us. Right now, the Chiefs, I think, are still winning 14-10.
They're struggling.
The Chiefs are 3rd and goal on Buffalo. They're ready to go in again.
They got the ball again, sis.
No, but listen, let me tell you, the Bills are not the Panthers, okay? They done cheated their way through the whole regular season with including the Panthers, who at the time were struggling. These Bills are not the Panthers.
Watching this.
They will annihilate them, and the chefs will go home with the packed up refs.
All right. Okay. All right. Listen, I'm with you, Sonia. I hope they do. I bet with you. I'm hoping they do.
Yes.
I don't know. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good right now.
Right.
Well, we got another half
right now, though. We
got another half. Even if the Chiefs score, we still got another half. And oh my God. Anyway,
Chiefs and Eagles. I'm calling it right here. Chiefs and Eagles, and I got the Eagles beating the Chiefs.
Nope. Right. Eagles and Bills, and if that's the case, Bills will win.
All right.